I finally finished my last year of medical school a couple months ago. Having spent my entire life thus far as a student, I've been reflecting deeply. And the more I think about the mistakes I've made, the more I realize, geez, Matty, why did it take you so long to figure this stuff out? I think about all the anxiety, the heartbreak, and the missed opportunities I've had. And obviously, looking back, I would have approached things very differently now. So I want to share some advice I would follow if I can go back and do my student life all over again to make the most out of it. The first thing is that you don't know anything. In psychology, there's this heuristic or mental shortcut called the illusion of explanatory depth. Basically, it's the idea that people believe they understand something deeply just because they're comfortable with it. Like most people use computers, and so they feel like they might know a lot about them. But imagine having to explain a computer to an alien that somehow can understand the way that we speak. The more questions the alien would ask, the clearer it is that most of us don't really know anything about how a computer actually works. So feeling like we know more than we do can be dangerous, and even worse if it comes off as arrogant. Trust me, nothing good comes from being a know-it-all. Classmates will think you're a douche, teachers will think you're snooty, people won't want to date you because they'll see you as a narcissist. It's just not a good look. Even if you do know something, it's still smarter to take the stance that you don't. And more importantly, take the stance that there's more for you to learn. Because 10 out of 10 times, you'll realize, like I did, you don't know everything. On my first day of organic chemistry, it was easy to accept that I didn't know anything, but I also randomly took a class about the Beatles. Do people still like them? Well, at the time, I was 18, and I was a huge Beatles fan. I know almost all of their songs and their albums, and so I thought this class was gonna be a breeze. So I never studied or went to class. And when the first midterm came up, I basically tanked it. Like, come on, the notorious easy class on campus. All because I thought I knew everything. So instead of being a know-it-all, I should have been humble and curious. If we aren't seeking answers or seeking to understand, we aren't seeking to grow. And this piece of advice is so powerful because it applies to every single aspect of our lives, even the ones that don't seem obvious. Like, for example, in your relationship. Say one day your boyfriend or girlfriend is acting sus and not responding to your messages or answering your phone calls. And deep in the back of your mind, you've suspected that they might be cheating on you or something horrible like that. It's easy for that thought to become our made-up reality. But if you instead come at it from the perspective of not knowing anything, the first thing to do is actually to try and understand what's going on before making any judgments. Maybe they dropped their phone in the toilet. Yeah, I've gotten that one before. Or they got COVID or something, and they're in the hospital. How dumb would you feel if you let your know-it-all assumptions blow it out of proportion and hurt the other person? Bottom line, accept you don't know everything. But instead of interpreting that as being dumb or incompetent, think about it from a positive perspective. It means you have a lot to learn, and that's a really good thing. The second idea is to create as much stuff as possible. Not only in the artistic sense or like a physical product, but in every possible way. Create unique experiences for yourself by trying new things. Create fun memories with friends, both spontaneously and proactively. Create by writing blogs, create by writing songs, create by making videos for YouTube. Just create stuff. One of the most common questions I've gotten from younger students is, how do I figure out what I want to do with my life? I think the best way to figure out what you like to do is to expose yourself to as many things as possible. The problem is a lot of us don't know how to go out and find these new experiences. So a powerful way to actually commit to trying new things is by creating stuff. Like, I remember one time in college, I was hanging out in my dorm room playing video games when one of my hallmates invited me to go out to a party with her. Normally I wouldn't have gone because I'm shy and I wouldn't know anyone there besides her. But for whatever reason, I decided that I needed to put myself out there, get out of my comfort zone, and try something different. And at that party, I met someone. He introduced me to my college's radio station, where I eventually became a talk show host. Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., people could tune into 88.9 FM, the Scurvy Dog Power Hour with DJ Matty Groves. That experience was one of my first times podcasting and DJing, and it really kickstarted my love for creating. I was given a platform to be a curator of ideas and music and discussion. It was work that I'd never been exposed to before, but it was so much fun. And looking back on it now, it was definitely one of the reasons why I was so down to start this YouTube channel with Mike. And it all started because I decided to create a unique experience for myself by going to a party instead of staying in and playing Dota like I did every night back then. And even if we don't end up enjoying that hobby or whatever creative work we did, at least we tried and figured that out. Ask me 5 years ago if I'd be making YouTube videos and building the Cajun Koi brand to inspire students and teach study skills online, I would have laughed in your face. But it was through the process of making stuff that I realized how fulfilling creative work is for me. So much to the point where I feel compelled to help other people find their own sense of fulfillment. Like when I started making YouTube videos, I had no idea how to frame shots or do lighting or teach complex science topics, but doing it forced me to be curious and learn the skills because now I had a specific goal in mind. You might think these things require going to school to get another degree or applying to film school or art school or something like that, but that's actually not the case. I picked up most of my creative expertise from online platforms like Skillshare, who are also the kind sponsor of today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for anyone who loves learning. You can find courses for just about any skill, from photography, graphic design, video editing, you name it. As a busy medical student, it was hard for me to find time for my hobbies. But Skillshare made it easy to continue creating and making stuff. It's also a platform where you can teach skills you've acquired to help other aspiring rookies and entrepreneurs. Most courses are short and sweet, but packed with value. For example, one of our courses, 7 Days to Better Grades, guides you through a step-by-step journey to optimize your study strategies, improve your focus, and score higher on exams. And it was through building these courses and teaching that helped us develop a really deep love and understanding for these topics. That's the power of Skillshare. To learn, create, and focus on self-discovery wherever you are in the process. And right now, the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. And the last idea is to go through life in co-op or multiplayer. There's this famous study from Harvard where scientists tracked almost 300 students over 80 years about the aspects of their lives that gave them the most joy or meaning. The single factor that determined happiness later in life was the strength and satisfaction of their relationships.
The clearest message that we get from this 75-year study is this: good relationships keep us happier and healthier, period.
More than money, more than fame, what keeps people happy throughout life is going through the highs and the lows with the people that we love. And not everyone needs the same amount of closeness with others. Like, as an introvert, I enjoy having space and alone time, but that doesn't mean I don't feel lonely from time to time. At the start of one of my semesters in college, I took a microbiology class that had mandatory attendance because the professor would lecture from the dome, but I was one of those students who sat in the back by myself, wouldn't talk to anyone, and then quietly snuck out at the end. I wanted to be invisible because it felt like way too much effort to participate in class or try to get involved with the other students. But I remember feeling really lonely every time I went to that class, to the point where I actually hated going to it. Then one day, a couple weeks into the class, this girl decided that of all the empty seats in the class, she'd come sit right next to me. And I was like, okay. And before class started, she looked over at me with a big, nervous smile, introduced herself, and told me that she had just transferred to university. And the rest is history, you know? We got married and lived happily ever after. I'm just kidding. She was super cute though. Anyways, we sat together every day after that, and it made that entire course so much more enjoyable. Like having someone to share the struggle with, whether that was about venting about how stupid the homework was or joking about how the teacher wore the same pants every single day. And she also introduced me to japchae, for which I am eternally grateful. My point with that story is that when we go it alone, we often feel like our pain is unique and that no one really understands how we feel. But the truth is that we're all students of life, trying to figure it out at the same time. None of us know anything about anything, remember? We have a lot to learn together and from each other. So we should be creating life experiences together. Humans are social creatures that love helping each other. It's an observed psychological tendency called affective altruism. So now I try to be more like my friend. I realize now that she was the courageous one for making the first move to open that door for companionship. Most of us are too shy or frightened to start an uncomfortable interaction, but it's through constantly taking those leaps of faith that build these strong and healthy relationships with other people. Those are the 3 rules I'd follow if I can go back in time and relive my student days to make the most out of it. What other advice would you give to your younger selves or to incoming rookies? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll compile all of the best ones into a sort of rookie mindset manual so that we can all learn from each other.